This is the BBQ Central Radio Show, which is recorded live each Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
The BBQ Central Radio Show is being brought to you by the BBQ Guru, the original creators of automatic temperature control devices, now offering 4 different models for you to choose from. Rest easy knowing that the BBQ Guru is controlling your pit temperature so you can get on with your life. Visit bbqguru.com or call 800-288-GURU for more information. And by Fred's Music and Tasty Licks BBQ Supply, your online barbecue and grilling superstore. From cookers to grills, wood chips and chunks, and everything in between. Also be sure to try the Tasty Licks barbecue brand of rubs and sauces. Check Fred out online at tastylicksbbq.com. And by Stephen DeFranco Jewelers. Located in beautiful Willoughby, Ohio, Stephen DeFranco Jewelers is a family-owned and operated business looking to service the great folks of the barbecue and grilling world. Get free shipping and big discounts by mentioning my name and the term Barbecue Brother. Check out their inventory by visiting StephenDeFranco.com. And by Butcher Barbecue, with 30 years of experience in retail, wholesale, meat markets, food service, and customer service. Using that experience, everything they do and sell at Butcher's Barbecue comes from real-world knowledge. Check out their award-winning spices, sauces, marinades, and injections by visiting ButcherBBQ.com. Always trust your butcher.
And by iGrill. The iGrill is a Bluetooth-enabled cooking thermometer that allows you to monitor the temperature of your food and smoker or grill from up to 200 feet away. Using the free iGrill app for your iPhone, iPad, and Android devices, you can set preferred temperatures, and your smart device will alert you when it's ready. It's perfect for cooking steaks to perfection or low and slow smokers overnight. Head to iGrill Inc., that's the letter I, grillinc.com to learn more. And by Barbecuer's Delight Wood Pellets, the barbecue wood pellet choice of competition cooks and backyard hacks just like me. The perfect blend of 2/3 oak and 1/3 flavor wood gives you that right BTU burn and flavor that you're looking to get all over your meat with smoky goodness. Visit bbqrsdelight.com. And by R&O Smokers, a custom pit builder using innovation and art in each of their cutting-edge, offset, and vault-style barbecue pits. Located in the heart of Texas near Fort Worth, Granbury has been the home to R&O Smokers since the beginning. R&O Smokers has continued to widen its range using visionary planning both on the design level and the quality of craftsmanship to bring their customers the finest custom pits on the market. Please get in contact with Billy, B-I-L-L-I-E _RO Smokers at yahoo.com or Tony at Tony _RO Smokers at yahoo.com or visit their main website, the letter O, RNO Smokers.com. And by Green Mountain Grills. Discover something you're really going to love. Cooking with pellets. Green Mountain Grills are widely available across the country. Top-of-the-line manufacturing, but not the highest in price. Visit greenmountaingrills.com to get started on your pellet adventure today.
Free call, 877-448-0433. You can also email the show if you would like to do that. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Everything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com, and plenty to get to tonight. And here's what's happening. First, if you haven't taken the time to go to the main website yet, sign up for the newsletter. So you're not getting the heads up every Tuesday around 4 or 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Shame on you. You know, just because I'm not always posting on the Facebooks and the Twitter about what's happening, you can forego my potential screw-ups and subscribe to the newsletter, and that's going to come out and tell you exactly what's happening on the show. I'm not saying that it should swing you if you decide you want to tune in live or not. I'm not saying that. I am saying you'll be able to have a advance notice. Sometimes advance notice is nice in life. That's what I've come to find out. Advance notice is nice in life. Because sometimes in life you don't get advance notice, and it's very troublesome. It can be costly in some regard. So do yourself the favor and go to thebbqcentralshow.com, sign up for the newsletter, and you're off and running. All right, here's what's happening tonight, coming up in about 12 minutes from now. pitmaster of Slap Yo Daddy Barbecue, Harry Sue, joins me. Been a while since we've had the Harry. 9:35 Eastern. Sponsor of the show, all-around great guy and barbecuer, Jason Baker from Green Mountain Grill joins us on the show. And then we'll move to the second hour. The interview segments will be taken by one person and one person alone. He is a barbecue media maven, a pitmaster, playwright, and all that good stuff. John Markus joins us for not one, but deux segments. That's two in French. I've been practicing my French. So there's what's happening in regards to roster of the show, plan of the show. We'll see how it goes. Plus, we got 3 giveaways tonight. We have the $20 gift certificate to the BBQ Superstore, thebbqsuperstore.com. We have Jim Elser's Sweet Smoke Q Juice, which can be found at sweetsmoke.q.com. And then, of course, we have the 4th of 5 free iGrill Minis. Giving the store away, folks. Absolutely. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Those are the 2 ways to get in touch with me. Should you... What? Now, hold on a damn minute. Ugh. Oh, technology, how you plague me. You guys didn't notice anything. It's fine. All right, so I'm using a new piece of software tonight to get the show out over the internets, and I thought I'd have a little fun with its virtual sets. So here's me in a virtual set. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hey, look at me. I'm a news guy. Hey, I'm a news guy. All right, welcome to Channel 3 News, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take it outside. The man on the street, Harry Carey, ladies and gentlemen. Hey! Get that big stuff out of here. As you can see, I have the banner behind me. I am neatly tucked behind a desk, which I am too big for, but that's fine. I mean, man, it looks great. All right, lots of things to get to here in the open. Make your Facebook, your Twitter, and your social media posts at will. Let everybody know the show's on. A couple different websites to send them to. thebbqcentralshow.com, of course, is the main website. We've talked about that a couple different times tonight already. And you can also send them to, for video, outdoorcookingchannel.com. And don't forget, if you have Roku, you can go to the Roku App Store, and you can also download the Outdoor Cooking Channel app there, and you can watch the show live Tuesdays from 9 to 11, Wednesdays from 9 to 10 in glorious high definition, and you don't even have to leave the couch. You can also subscribe to the Tune for replays. You can subscribe to the Tune. You can subscribe through iTunes to get this show on replays audibly. You can also go to YouTube for video replays. You can go to Outdoor Cooking Channel for video replays. Of course, you can hit the main website, BBQCentralShow.com, for both audio and video replays, as well as posts that I just might blog about for whatever reason, rarely. But sometimes the mood strikes me to write, and I will. So no reason you should ever miss anything as it relates to the show, ever. Here's a reminder. There's this great internet magazine called Smoke Signals. It's out right now. The newest edition is out right now. Be sure to check it out. Lots of great live fire cooking info on each episode. Smoke Signals Magazine, smokesignalsmagazine.com is the link. Actually, if anybody could do that in the chat, smokesignalsmagazine.com. And you can kind of read and listen and watch the show as we're going along. Page 23, I believe, you might find an ad for this show. Check it out. It's full-blown. Looks very professional. Also, I just want to remind, if you are looking to run for the KCBS Board of Directors, get in touch with me, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com, and we'll get you up for your platform and why you're running and all that great stuff. It's very exciting. All right, here we go. Speaking of the KCBS, is anyone aware of the Team of the Year race that is transpiring right now, this very season, this very day? It's like 2009 all over again. Maybe even better. Maybe even better. Maybe even worse, as I'm coming to find out more and more about this thing. As it sits right now, Tuesday, November 26th, or whatever the hell the date is. We have a two-way tie for first place. Tim Grant And Team True Bud Barbecue is there, and so is Donnie Bray. And Team Warren County Pork Chops. Congratulations to those two teams. Warren County Pork Choppers ties it up with their win this past weekend at the Plant City Pig Jam. This is their second time cooking head-to-head, Warren County v. True Bud, amongst the many others. And Warren County on both occasions has won outright grand championship. The last time, I think it was like in Kentucky somewhere. It was like that was truly Donnie's backyard, I believe, the last time. So what do you do to decide it? Well, originally my take was you make the run down to Calhoun, Georgia, and you go head-to-head for the third time this year in a final attempt to claim an outright Team of the Year title. I mean, not Super Bowl, of course, but this is pretty exciting nonetheless. I can't wait to see how this is going to play out the weekend after next. Good luck to Donnie and Tim. And then I read something else. Maybe there's not going to be any winner at all.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Well, let me rephrase that. Maybe there's not going to be any winner determined in Calhoun regardless of how they finish. Let me say it that way. Because if it's one thing I know about the KCBS Team of the Year, it's that I don't understand how the hell you determine KCBS Team of the Year. I tried to have one of the top men on the KCBS Board of Directors, no name please, but evidently there is a emergency meeting taking place. I don't think this has anything to do with the contest coming up in the next couple weeks. I could be completely wrong. But I don't think Team of the Year race has anything to do with the meeting tonight. However, from what I can ascertain in regards to winning Team of the Year, you need to win 10 contests to qualify, and then your highest 10 scores are calculated, and those are your overall Team of the Year points. So it would stand to reason that if I win 10 and John wins 10 and my overall scores were better than his, I will win outright. Of course, where it seems to get a little bit tricky is now they're tied, and if neither team, A, wins outright, Warren County or True Bud, because they're both going to go down to Calhoun regardless, at least now. If they don't win outright, I don't think any, well, or if one of them wins outright and it doesn't increase, if it doesn't replace their lowest top 10 score, then the points don't change, and then you start going down the line of finishes. If it's a tie, you go here. If it's still a tie after the 6th one, you go to 11. If it's still a tie after the 11th one, you go to the 12th overall, all the way down until at some point you get a winner for Team of the Year. Long-standing rule, one that I'm sure will rage debate. People have talked about putting Tim and Donnie in a heads-up cooking match, maybe even at the end of the year at the KCBS banquet. I mean, who knows how it's potentially anticlimactic. So here's what I have to say about that. If you think for 1 minute that either Donnie Bray or Tim Grant isn't going to win outright at that contest, you're begging. One of those two is going to win. But is it going to be enough points to replace whatever the lowest score is that they have to kick the points up and take the overall championship, like a win at the contest? At least that's the way I understand it. It's very complicated. We'll see how it goes. All right. Quickly, folks, let me talk to you about iGrill. We're going to be giving one away. It's the next generation. Well, the next generation of iGrill has arrived. You can pre-order it now. The iGrill Mini, it's $40. Well, $39.99. The iGrill Mini, everything you love about the iGrill, so much more, with a smart LED that indicates the progression of your temperature and lets you know when you're in and out of temperature range, proximity, wake up to conserve battery, and outstanding battery life of up to 150 hours. You get all these awesome features in a pocket-sized device at half the price of the original iGrill. $39.99 for the iGrill Mini with 1 meat probe and 1 probe wrap. The iGrill magnetically mounts to your grill or smoker and even comes with a attached magnet in case your ceramic smoker or other non-magnetic surface is unavailable. They're thinking of everything here. Now, the product on itself is a Bluetooth-enabled cooking thermometer that pairs with the Apple or Android device using free iGrill Pro app, which can be downloaded at the iTunes or Google Play Store. You're looking at about 200 feet of Bluetooth range. You can monitor your food from practically anywhere in the house and basically just frees you up to get whatever it is you need done. You can get 15% off of your order if you use iGrill Inc., or if you go to iGrillInc.com and then put in Central, CENTRAL, and you can also get on the pre-order list for the new iGrill Mini at iDevicesinc.com/iGrill. That's iDevicesinc.com/iGrill, $39.99. Great stuff. And thanks to the folks at iGrill for allowing the giveaway and the special promotion and sponsorship of this show. All right, we're back with Harry Sue right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Your two ways to get in touch with me. Should you see fit to do so, more than happy to have you. My first guest tonight won the KCBS Team of the Year chicken category last year. You have seen him on TV and a number of times. Does cooking classes and is the pitmaster of Slap Yo Daddy barbecue competition cooking team. Help me welcome back friend of the show, Harry Sue, joining me. Harry, how are you, bud?
I'm doing wonderful, Greg. How are you?
Doing absolutely fabulous, Harry. Always appreciate you making time for the show. Probably, a number of different places to start with you tonight, and we've been, pretty heavy into this barbecue contest thing for the past few months, especially with what is going on right now with the Team of the Year race. Now knotted at the top with two teams really having superior seasons. Maybe you could give us a little bit of recap of Slap Yo Daddy and where you see yourself in 2013, and maybe your take on what's happening with Team of the Year race right now between Warren County and True Bud.
Oh, okay. Well, for 2013, for me, it's been a year of actually rest. I've kind of backed up on the competition circuit and focused primarily on basically teaching classes around the country. I've had a chance to visit Pennsylvania, Utah, England, and a number of other places to do my classes. And I've only done about maybe less than 10 contests this year. But 2014 is a brand new year. I've been playing around with my little mini tamale pot Smoky Joe, and hopefully in 2014 you'll see me as the new Mini-Man.
The new Mini-Man. All right, well, I think we're going to talk about that here in a couple minutes, but do you find it, maybe you had it planned out this way, but was it difficult for you this year not doing as many contests as you had done in years past? Because you were, one guy that got in quite a few.
Yeah, I mean, I made it sort of a personal goal, and I had put a lot of time and effort in the last 3 years cooking on the competition circuit. It has been a wonderful and fabulous journey. Met so many different people and had a really wonderful time. For 2014, I thought I kind of throttled back a bit. I've been also been a little bit swamped at my regular work, and sometimes, regular work gets in the way of competition barbecue. But I'm still having a lot of fun this year, and I'm really looking forward to the December 7th event, King of the Smoker. It's going to be in La Quinta this year.
Harry Sue joining me here on the show. The website, by the way, slapyodaddybbq.com if you want to check it out here while we're chatting it up a little bit. Harry, do you have any thoughts just from an outsider looking in as far as that Team of the Year race that's taking place right now between Warren County and True Bud knotted at the top?
It's amazing to me how many points the team have been able to score, and it's almost getting to a perfect score kind of game. I think it's amazing that teams can do really so well amidst such a tough field. I think it's going to be kind of a narrow race all the way to the end.
All right, so, you're pro KCBS, you're pro a number of other sanctioning bodies as well. In regards to being able to see how people are scored and at what tables, Do you think that's exposed a little bit, that, I guess, perceived myth of hitting a bad table and really made it into a reality, A, and then B, is it something that might have to be addressed going forward to a certain degree?
Well, what I have noticed in my own personal scores is, at least on the West Coast anyway, the scores are trending upwards. And, in the past, a 700 score was unheard of, but it seems to be common now, as well as 180s seem to be much more common now. I'm not sure if it's due to the new KCBS scoring system, or maybe the judges are a little bit more flexible nowadays.
All right, so one thing that I've noticed this year, Harry, is that competition barbecue on the West Coast has really exploded, perhaps more this year than any other in years past. Many contests seeing record numbers of teams show up to take part. Being a West Coaster yourself, have you seen the barbecue world change on that side of the country as well?
I think the number one thing I want to say is that the interest is really high, and we just recently had, the largest contest in California in Dana Point. Nowadays, when you go to a contest, 60, 70 teams is not abnormal. In the past, that would be unusual. I'm just amazed at the number of teams with 40 to 50 teams. That's kind of like the low end of the scale. So the whole barbecue phenomenon in California has really taken off. And the caliber of teams today are absolutely amazing. We have some really, really good teams. A lot of even the new teams seem to be doing very well.
Are you attributing the caliber of teams coming out, right out of the chute and being competitive to things that are on TV? Is it to the cooking classes? Is it to the internet? Is it an amalgamation of all of that stuff? What's your take on that?
My take is kind of all of the above. Obviously, there's a lot more good, what I call YouTube content, or what I sometimes, jokingly call barbecue porn. The quality of the videos have gone up. There are more instructors teaching around the country, a lot more exposure to barbecue, lots more TV shows where people can rewind the tape again and again and watch BBQ Pitmasters, their favorite episodes, for the 27th time. And also, maybe I have a little part to play in it. I've trained over 1,000 students who've gone through my small little classes that I've had for the past several years.
When you're doing those classes, Harry, do you take notes, or are you able to look at somebody and go, they're showing kind of an innate ability, or they're really picking this up a little bit better than some of the other classmates? And do you keep track of them, or do you keep track of everybody? Do you not keep track of anybody? How do you kind of tally how well you're doing with your classes as they graduate into the competition ranks?
Well, I can say that I've trained many teams that have become grand champions, and usually in my classes, I would say maybe 20% are competition teams, and the other 80% are backyarders. And I believe that I've had at least 4 teams that have made the jack. And so far, I believe I've trained a woman grand champion from Arizona, the first one, Jennifer Duncan, when we had Sylvie Curry, a GC from California, and even Steve Renfro from Colorado, who's gone to the jack. So I've had a lot of teams who have had a lot of success after doing my class. A lot of people think my class is sort of a backyard, but I'm actually teaching both backyard and competition techniques in my kind of backyard class.
Harry Sue joining us here on the show, slapyodaddybbq.com, the website. Harry, I get this question a lot, and which is, when should I turn pro? And, I asked Ray Lampe that question a few weeks back because somebody had submitted it during our Ask Dr. Barbecue segment on Wednesdays. And quite frankly, he said he doesn't really get the backyard deal at all, and just to jump in with the sanctioned events and kind of make your bones there. So as someone who is putting on a backyard event, which we'll talk about here in a second, and you're doing classes that are both a backyard and competition involved, what's the benefit of a team doing backyard event first and then working into a regular circuit?
I think I have a couple of thoughts on that. Number one, I think that, like in baseball, there has to be a minor league for people to kind of wet their feet. As you're probably aware, one of the challenges we face in the barbecue circuit world is the cost of entry is very high. The average contest entry fee in California is between, say, $300 to $400 to enter a contest. And if you add all the other expenses, you could easily push $1,000 expenditure a weekend, and you are going to go to a contest. And if you're a newbie, that sounds like a lot of money to invest to see how well you can do. In response to that, and at the behest of all my students, I started sort of the kindling idea of a minor league. So one of my students was able to find a winery in northern San Diego County to host a backyarder. And what I'm trying to do is essentially create kind of like a minor league where I can have teams come for the price of just the costs of the event, say $75, come and try out this whole competition barbecue gig amid a friendly audience and a lot of mentors and supporters. And I'm hoping that will essentially create the genesis of a minor league that will eventually feed the major league, so that people can, approach barbecue from a more financially realistic standpoint.
Do you think that the potential of a minor league competition circuit would generate some more sponsorship dollars or get an influx of cash to increase the purses in an overall sense, or is that not realistic?
I think that we individually and collectively as a group of pitmasters need to do whatever we can to grow this barbecue phenomena. And what I've heard the most from my students is that, hey, there's no real avenue for them to try things out. It's either, spend $1,000 to go to a real contest and cook against the pros, or there's nothing in between. So what I thought might be a useful concept in California, at least I'm trying it out on December the 14th in Temecula, is to essentially have a small little contest for people to try things out. I was just amazed by the response. I think that I had put out an email and Facebook entry for the event, and I think within the day, all 24 available spots were gone.
Really?
And I had people backed up on a waiting list wanting to come in, and I've had one of my students even from Canada who's driving in all the way just to compete in this backyard.
Wow. And it's a backyard event, so everybody should keep that in mind. So the cost is down compared to a regular contest. Some of the other things are going to be a little bit different. Is there's going to be some, open discussion from the judges as far as what they like and what they don't like about the tournaments?
Yeah, I'm sort of borrowing a page from sort of the Pitmasters series where there's open judging. The judging table is allowed to talk about the entries, and the teams are allowed to stand beside the judges, because I want to give them feedback. And I'm also kind of relaxing the rules to allow the teams to basically watch the judging, and I'm even allowing teams to help each other. But what I'm trying to do is create sort of a community of like-minded beginner pitmasters who really want to experience the thrill and the excitement of competition barbecue, really without committing a huge financial investment.
Harry Sue joining me here on the show. And what's the date for that again? I mean, I know it's all booked up, but when it's
December the 14th. It's 1 week after the King of Smoker. Yeah. I was a little bit inspired by Sterling from Big Papa Smokers for the work that he's been doing to try to bring a much friendlier and public-friendly face to barbecue.
Yeah.
I've gotten even the ability to maybe even dish barbecue samples at the Temecula Winery backyard. And we are also going to donate any leftover proceeds to a cancer nonprofit charity called Michelle's Place, based out of Temecula. So I think it's a win-win to have some of the proceeds from a contest go back into a local charity, at the same time expose a whole bunch of newbies and the public to this whole world of competition barbecue. I have 10 barbecue ambassadors who are pitmasters of seasoned teams, walking the public and going around and sharing the story of barbecue to whomever wants to listen.
Harry Sue joining me here on the show. That contest December 14th, so we'll look forward to see how that comes off for you, and we wish you nothing but the best on that, Harry. All right, so next question, and perhaps this falls under the Harry Sue barbecue kook file, but back in October, on the 19th, you were able to fulfill a dream, and probably only of yours. And look, you've been on this show a number of times in the past, and you have always been one who truly lives and believes that the minimalist footprint in competitions is the way to go, and you try and exemplify that each and every time you cook. But you really took this deal to a whole new level back in October, didn't you?
Yes, I fulfilled a kind of a crazy, nutty dream of mine, which was to cook an entire KCBS sanctioned contest. on a mini little Smoky Joe with a tamale pot mounted on top. Those are euphemistically known as mini WSMs. They have a 12-inch grate in there, so there isn't very much room to be able to cook the pork butt and brisket and ribs and chicken. And to complicate matters even further, I made the dessert entry, which was a pineapple grilled cheesecake in it. So I was just amazed that I finished 10th overall, and I finished first in ribs, first in dessert and first in ribs, and a couple of three other different walks. So I'm just completely amazed that it was even possible. I did it out of kind of a personal challenge because I wanted to see how far I could push the envelope, and I wanted to bring out that Southern engineer in me so that I could improvise and try different techniques to try to get all that meat into that little tamale pot. But, overall I succeeded, and I was very happy with the results. After the contest, I wrote myself 10 different improvements, and who knows, you might see me cook regularly on that mini tamale pot on a Smoky Joe for 2014.
How many practice runs did you do prior to that? Because when you go, if you go to slapyodaddybbq.com and you go to the blog and you read that post, you have a lot of great pictures, but if people have never seen the setup, it really looks like Smoky Joe that got just kind of made taller. That doesn't increase the width or the ability to really hold a ton more meat, and you're putting on barbecue competition meat. How many practice runs did it take to really kind of hone the skill there for you to feel confident enough to do it in a contest?
Well, actually, I actually went to a contest after trying out twice. And the first run was just to make sure that I could fit the pork butt and have the brisket on top of the pork butt without the brisket grate touching the bottom grate. So the way my tamale pot is set up, it was actually built by Chris Almquist out of Arizona. And he built me one that I actually used at the Jack Daniel's 2012. And I cooked my chicken breast entry in it. So what I thought might be possible is if I could cook one pork butt on the lower grate, cook my brisket flat, only cut into a circular kind of a shape on the top grate, I could fulfill the requirement to turn in 6 servings of brisket and 6 servings of pork. So that was the first run, and it went fairly well. The second run was a little bit more tricky because I wanted to cook 14 pieces of chicken in there, and 14 pieces of chicken would take up 2 trays, but I only had 2 grates in the tamale pot. So I had to jury rig a little chicken roaster to prop a 3rd grate on top so I could cook the ribs and chicken without the chicken dripping on the ribs. So that was the second part was actually the more challenging and more fun part of the whole adventure that I had.
Will you be trying the mini version at the King of the Smokers on the 6th?
I'm very tempted, but given that, there's going to be 24 of the best teams in America there, I think I will hedge my bets. I might bring the mini just for fun, but I have to be really serious about that event because that's really, for the top bragging right in the nation. So I would be foolish to try to, pull off such a stunt at such an event.
Harry, 2 days left till Thanksgiving. Do you have any last-minute advice for people who will be tasked to cook the bird and maybe your favorite way to prepare a turkey, or do you even eat turkey?
I do eat turkey, and for every year I cook turkey. So this year, just for fun, I wanted to do my own Harry Sue spin on the traditional T-bird. Everyone has heard of a turducken, right?
Yeah.
It's basically a turkey with a chicken and a duck stuffed in it.
Yep.
I thought to myself, as I was scheming, why don't I try to make a moo-oink duck tucken?
All right, so we have some type of beef, pork, moo-oink, turkey, and chicken?
Yes.
And duck.
And I'm going to combine and fuse the different cultures.
Wow.
And people who hear me are going to think I'm really nutty. But I love Peking duck, and I love how the skin of the duck is just so crispy.
Yeah.
So what I'm planning to do is actually I'm going to buy a duck, debone the duck, and then I'm going to stuff the duck essentially with basically beef ribeye slices that you can purchase for a Asian dish called a shabu shabu, which is like a hot pot. So you have these thin slices of beef and thin slices of pork, and I'm going to basically line the layers with the same kind of mushroom mix that you prepare for beef Wellington.
Oh.
So visualize as if you can see 5 concentric circles of meat, kind of like a meatloaf shape, with the duck being on the outside with the crispy Peking duck skin.
Oh, sounds delicious.
So try it this weekend. On Thursday, and I'm going to blog about it. So for those who are interested in what Frankenstein monster I'm creating, come watch the blog and see all the pictures. I'll be posting on Facebook as the whole adventure continues to see if I can pull it off or it is going to be a disaster.
Well, we'll see how it goes, and people will be watching and looking for those pictures. You can see Harry Sue December 14th at his own backyard event, and before that, competing at King of the Smokers. He is the pitmaster of Slap Yo Daddy Barbecue. Harry, always appreciate the time. Have a great Thanksgiving, and thanks for coming on tonight.
All right, thank you, Greg.
You got it. There he is, Harry Sue. SlapYoDaddyBBQ.com. That is the place to go if you are ready to see a oink moo duckin' turkey chicken with spare ribs, right? Probably not. He's piqued my interest. What can I say? Get out of the normal turducken stuff and add Peking duck. Yeah, I can see that. Just answering an email. All right, folks. 2 days is Thanksgiving. Less than a month from there is Christmas. You are screwed. Stop putting it off, really. Do me a favor, but more importantly, do yourself a favor. Call Steve from Stephen DeFranco Jewelers right now. 440-943-2700. Say, hey, Steve, listening to Rempe, and quite frankly, he's scared me into thinking that I'm not going to do it right this year, so, hook me up. I'm looking for a watch, or I'm looking for a necklace, or diamond rings, or diamond earrings, or bracelets, or anklets, or who knows. His inventory is vast. His overhead is low. So you're not going to be paying for all that other crap that you're going to be getting in those big chain jewelry stores in the mall and strip mall type places. You go to StephenDeFranco.com. That's Stephen, DIFRANCO, StephenDeFranco.com. And as you peruse the inventory, make some notes, and once you see what you like, go ahead and let everybody know that you're going to call Steve, 440-943-2700. When they answer the phone, ask for Steve specifically. Say, hey, Steve, this is what I'm looking at. I'm a barbecue brother, or if you're a lady, a barbecue sister. And here's what I'm looking to do. Then he's going to ask you a bunch of questions, make sure that he's got it nailed down, and then he's going to give you the price. You're going to be happy. A lot of that stuff can get engraved for free. It's going to get gift wrapped for free, so you don't have to wrap it if you don't want to. Tell him to wrap it. He'll do it for free. He'll engrave it for free. He'll ship it for free. As I said, with those watches, you get an extra year of warranty. So instead of 1, you go out to 2, plus batteries for life. He'll even set the time for you when he sends it back. You tell him what time zone you're in, and he will make those adjustments right there in the store. It's that high-tech. StephenDeFranco.com. It's Stephen DeFranco, DIFRANCO, 440-943-2700. Tell him I sent you, and you'll be thanking me later. Just like John Markus thanked me like a year ago for his great watch. All right, we will be back right after this with Jason Baker from Green Mountain Grills. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central radio networks. And before we get to Jason, we'll do a giveaway. Your chance to... Get upstairs. Jeez. Damn it. Your chance to win the Barbecue Superstore $20 gift card. And an email with a subject line that says Harry Sue BBQ. Harry Sue BBQ, and you can win a $20 gift certificate to thebbqsuperstore.com. Harry Sue BBQ in the evening. Good luck.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Big B, Moonshine Band, Suburban Waste Records. Let's go! I'm an outlaw. Give me 2 shots. We don't need a radio. Bring a jukebox for my outlaws. Bring me 3 shots. We can raise hell before the speed stops. I'm a whiskey.
All right, we're back. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. My next guest, Director of Sales and Marketing for Green Mountain Grills. Tonight, we'll be talking about the new Davy Crockett unit that is now on the market for your consumption and cooking pleasure. Let's go ahead and race over the hotline and welcome back friend of the show, Jason Baker. Jason, how are you, buddy?
I'm well, and you, Greg?
Doing absolutely great and well myself, Jason. Thanks for joining me on,
Good.
Just a couple days away from Thanksgiving. What do you got planned for the big day, Jay?
Well, I started the brine already, so that's a good thing.
Wow. You're a briner believer, right?
I am. I'm a 2-day briner and then an all-day cooker. So got all the works ready. I've even got a pheasant. I've never actually cooked a pheasant, but I'm pretty excited to try it. So this is going to be my first.
What's the? I've never pheasant myself either. What is a pheasant flavor profile wise supposed to give you in the mouth?
Well, it's a little gamey, so I would equate it to like a gamey turkey. How about that? That's as good as I can make it. It has just a gamey flavor to it, but it's also very it's not as slippery or greasy as like a duck.
All right, I can visualize that and potentially taste it. Jason Baker joining me here on the show. GreenMountainGrills.com is the website. Jason, for the people that might just be tuning in for the first time tonight, or you haven't really gone back through the archives and listened to some of our previous interviews, maybe just a quick background about the company and your association with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Company started, Green Mountain Grills started in 2007. We started with a 436 square inch model called the Daniel Boone that we brought to the market as competition to Traeger. The Traeger Little Tex, and after 2 or 3 years, we introduced the Jim Bowie, which was basically in direct competition with the Texas, the 075 Texas that Traeger had come out with, and now we've come out with the Davy Crockett. So we have 3 models of grills for the general public. We also make trailer rigs. A Big Pig trailer rig, which is a massive, almost 3,000 square inch model towed on a rig. Just an incredible product. But for the mainstream products, the Daniel Boone, Jim Bowie, and then now the Davy Crockett are our main products that we deal with alongside our pellets, full rubs and sauces, everything. And so I came aboard as a sales and marketing guy, and been on now for almost 3 years. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great company to work for. It's been growing tremendously as the pellet market has been, and so we've enjoyed the growth, and we're trying to now innovate more. That's really what we're doing right now, is just innovating. And
Green Mountain Grills is a dealer first type of an outfit. You want to hit the brick and mortar stores and show demos and have the hands on, and then be able to answer those technical questions.
That's right. Yeah, we came to the market very similar to how Big Green Egg came to the market, and I think we've done a pretty good job of sticking to that model of making sure that if you want to see one of these grills, if you want to buy one of these grills, you have to go to a local dealer, and that dealer is somebody who is knowledgeable about the grill, who knows exactly how it works, how it operates, is there to teach you how to cook on it. That is the model in which we've gone with here with Green Mountain Grills. And it's been good for us. It's been really good for us. We have a great dealer network throughout the country who are very loyal to us and it's been great. It's been a really good. It's been a successful model for us.
Jason Baker joining me here on the show. GreenMountainGrills.com is the website. All right, so the star of this segment tonight is the one that we had kind of pre-hyped maybe, what was it now, 4 or 5 months ago, was the Davy Crockett. And, you know, when you had originally told me that you had something a little bit smaller in the works and that you were looking to kind of attack a different market with it, I was like, well, you know, everybody likes big, and bigger is always better, and once you get bigger than that is always better. And you guys kind of went in reverse and really made something that is transportable and can be used like in a number of different ways. So if you could, maybe the conception of the Davy Crockett and how you see it fitting into the live fire market.
Sure. So basically, when we look at this market, we saw a market that really consisted of maybe 2 or 3 products that were at least had some validity to them. But I think they all missed the mark on the fact that it's not 12 volt. Everybody went to the 110 model. We started off with the 12 volt. Could we go 12 volt and actually go to a battery? Could we go to a cigarette plug lighter in a car? And can we go just like a laptop would right into a wall with an inverter? So we looked at that as our starting point and tried to create a model that was half the size of the Daniel Boone, still having the peaked lid to it, having good space in it to cook, you know, pretty good amount of food. This has 219 square inches of space to it, and it has almost 8 inches of clearance, so it has a lot of room in the cavity, but also create a product that would really kind of revolutionize the way in which you cook on these pellet grills in a tailgate model. So we added something else, not just the 12 volt, but we added the open flame technology. So we basically have a firebox cover now. If you're not familiar with how the pellet grill works, you basically have a cover over the firebox, and then you have a grease tray, and then you have your grates. So you have those 3 layers. In the Daniel Boone and the Jim Bowie models, you have that closed surface, if you will, so a straight steel surface on the firebox cover and the grease tray. Now with this Davy Crockett, you have holes in the firebox cover, and then you have holes in the grease tray, and the grease tray is basically a slider, so you can close it back and forth to either grill direct or indirect. So I think that's always been kind of the knock on pellet grills, is that people always say, well, you can't really sear as much as I'd like. So people kind of go to the grill grate, or they have some kind of concoction that they put together themselves on these grills. And so we came to the market with this product to try to deal with that rebuttal. And I think we've done it. I think it's a great product that has that open flame if you want it at high temperatures. This thing goes all the way up to 550 degrees. It goes all the way down to 150 degrees. It is a single fan environment. So in the Green Mountain, traditionally, we've always done 2 fans. We went to a single fan environment on this grill, but it's worked out great for us. If you see it, it has the legs. So you carry it around. It's heavy. It's 57 pounds. But, you know, we looked at that and we said, okay, when you go, and I think when we tried to go down on the gauge of steel, what we realized is that we lost a lot of heat. So the pellet consumption went way up. So I think what you're going to see with this grill is a very well insulated grill from the standpoint of keeping the heat, not consuming a ton of pellets. It has a 9-pound hopper on it. It has very little energy draw. Basically, when you start this thing up, it's all automatic, goes 100 watts, and then it goes 10 watts continuous.
Yeah. What kind of a price point are we looking at for the Davy Crockett?
So that's the other great part. We are at $379 on this product.
Wow.
We came to the market with that in mind as well. You know, we wanted to be under that $400 price point. We hit $379 MSRP, and now we're actually doing a $40 off coupon all the way till the 24th of December for that grill as well. So $339 plus tax, or if you don't have tax in your states, you're lucky. But $339 is what the MSRP on that grill is now until the 24th of December.
Absolutely fantastic price point. And I guess what I like when I hear about it is it's portable, but you're not gaining portability, but sacrificing the capacity to actually put some real good meat stuff on there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can still put a couple big. I mean, I've put a couple 8-pound pork butts on there. I've done a mini turkey on there. I've done plenty of steaks and burgers. You've got a ton of space. I did a whole deal of smoked salmon on there the other day. I probably had at least 2 really good sized fillets and even some chunks on the side. So you have a lot of space with this thing.
Jason Baker joining me here on the show. GreenMountainGrills.com if you want to check out all the product lines that are available. The Davy Crockett, the Daniel Boone, the Jim Bowie, they're all there for your review and for purchase, obviously. Just from my cursory research, it looks like maybe an additional 3 or 4 pellet manufacturers joined the market in 2013. Are you surprised at the rise in popularity that the pellet cooker market has seen in the past 2 or 3 years?
I'm not. I'm really not. I just in being in this market, being around this market for and knowing, just being out there on the competition circuit, seeing some of these guys who are cooking on all sorts of different pellet cookers, and obviously seeing what just happened at the World Food Championship, and you see the pellet cookers that are out there and the guys that are winning on those. You're learning that more and more people are gravitating towards these things because it's easier. I mean, it's definitely an easier way to cook, but I would say that still you have craft in this. So you're focused. I think these guys are much more focused on the flavor profiles and not having to worry so much about their pits. They're getting even better at cooking, and that's why I think that people are really moving towards these products. And the general public's getting more comfortable with them. I still think it's one of those products that the general public has to be trained on. I don't think it's something that can be shipped to them via Amazon over the internet. I think that they need to be able to learn through either a professional or a dealer or somebody that knows how these grills operate. They really have to dive in and learn these grills. And if you want to learn these grills, you're going to get hooked on them. But if you don't, you should just go to Walmart and buy the $200-$300 throwaway propane grill and live with that. That's really, I say that a lot to people because I believe that. If you're not going to learn these grills, don't buy a pellet grill, please.
Yeah, keep buying the cheap stuff and live in misery for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Jason Baker joining me here on the show. Jay, if the southeast portion of the country is the ceramic cooker capital of the world, is it safe to say that the Pacific Northwest is the pellet cooker capital of the world? And why do you think that is?
Wow. Yeah, well, definitely it's where Traeger started. Traeger started this back in the 80s, and so it's had a real good jump start on just notoriety in that area. But I would actually tell you, Greg, that the Northwest is great, and it's a phenomenal territory, but what you're seeing now is that more and more folks in Kansas, Missouri, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, I mean, the heartland, Nebraska, everybody in that general vicinity is really, they're moving towards these grills. And so I'm seeing those numbers rise more and more every year over year than even the Northwest right now. So, especially places like Nebraska, it just blow your mind. The folks there, they love their pellet grills. So that's where it is right now.
Jason Baker is the Director of Sales and Marketing for Green Mountain Grills. Again, the website, greenmountaingrills.com. Jason, before I let you go, anything else you want to plug up or promote while I got you?
I'll tell you, I didn't say anything about my pellets, but I'll tell you, we have been really focused on making good pellets this year, and we came out with 2 new brands. We came out with a fruit blend pellet, which is basically cherry, pecan, and beach. And then we just fired up our Texas plant, where we are making a Texas blend pellet, which is oak, hickory, and mesquite. And those have been very popular as of late, and are moving into stores pretty readily available now.
So get after those pellets. Of course, they're kind of key in order to make those pellet grills work, right, Jason?
Yeah, you kind of need those.
Yeah, funny how that works. Again, Jason Baker joining us, greenmountaingrills.com, the website. Jason, always appreciate the time. We'll look for you again soon.
Thanks, Greg.
You're right, you got it. There he is, Jason Baker. Green Mountain Grills, greenmountaingrills.com is the website. And I happen to have whatever their biggest model is, I think it's the Jim Bowie. And, man, thing is big, and it cooks a lot of meat. Here's a picture of those pellets, by the way. I was trying to get up on the screen earlier. And, yeah, good stuff. Check them out. The blend of pellets sounded weird to me at first, but then I was heartily impressed after I actually cooked on them. And that's really the key. You know, you can look at wood all you want, but until you cook with it, you're never going to know how it burns or flavors your meat. People talking about over here. All right, before we wrap up the first hour, I want to talk to you about the BBQ Guru, the longest-running sponsor of the show, and here to help me talk about the BBQ Guru tonight is my friend AJ Levant. There's AJ right there. Look at that kid. As cute as they come. How about that? AJ, what do you know about the BBQ Guru?
Nothing.
What if I told you there was a product out there on the market today that you could you could put your ribs or your pork butt or your whatever meat you want on your cooker. And then you take this control and you set the pit temperature whatever you wanted it, 200 degrees, 275 degrees, and through a series of microprocessors and fans, it would keep it at that temperature all day long. What do you think about that?
I do not know what that means.
Well, that means you set it at the temperature like an oven. You set it at the temperature, you can walk away, and it's going to sit right at that temperature. You don't have to put wood on the fire. You don't have to add more charcoal. None of that stuff. You can go play soccer all day long, and your pork butts and your ribs are being cooked to perfection. You want to buy two or what?
I'll probably buy one.
You'll probably buy one. All right, we got another one sold for you, Bob. How about that? Aside from the automatic pit temperature control devices, of course, they have the Onyx oven, which is a barbecue pit, like Uncle Mr. Rempy has. And you can cook a ton of meat in this stuff. It accommodates the half and the full pans that you would get for food service. And, of course, because it's made by the BBQ Guru, you know it's going to work seamlessly with all of their BBQ Guru cooking devices, of course. I mean, you knew that, right? Yeah, of course you did. Smart kid. So here's what you want to do. You got to go to the website, thebbqguru.com. That's thebbqguru.com. And then if you have any questions, call them toll-free, 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. And they'll make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. Do it now, 800-288-GURU or thebbqguru.com. All right, we're going to come back and we're going to give away a bottle of sweet. You want to give away Sweet Smoke Q Juice or an iGrill Mini?
iGrill Mini.
iGrill Mini it is. All right. Get your fat fingers ready, folks. We're going to give away a $40 prize coming up out of the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Now's the time on the show where we give stuff away, yeah. It's free and you don't have to pay a thing, that's why it's free, yeah.
All right, we're back. AJ, we're back.
Okay.
We're going to give away an iGrill Mini. All right, so talk into the microphone. Get up there. Say something.
Hi.
Hold on a minute. Fan microphone. Check, 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 check. All right, say something now.
Hello.
All right, sounds much better. All right. Give me a phrase Any phrase.
I like to play soccer.
All right, folks, to win the iGrill Mini tonight, you have to send me an email in the subject line, I like to play soccer. I like to play soccer. And you can win a free iGrill Mini just like that. Good luck.
Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we're back. 877-448-0433. It's the Greg and AJ show here for the next few minutes. All right, winner is Kevin Bird. Give me your bird.
Caca.
Caca. What is that? Caca. I'll take it. All right, Kevin Bird, congratulations. You got to send me your shipping address. And in the subject line, just put free iGrill Mini. Kevin Bird, you're the winner. So, Kevin, if you're listening, your email address, please. Not your email address, your shipping address. Send it to me, Greg, at thebbqcentralshow.com. And in the subject line, iGrill Mini. You win. It's $40. Thanks to AJ for joining me here to round out the first hour. We'll be back with John Markus in the second hour, plus another giveaway, the Sweet Smoke Q Juice. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Network.
Hey, this is Helen Paradise from SoCal, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shake a face.
I'm shaking like a dog shitting peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
And just like that, we are in the second hour. I don't recall if I did or not, but I don't think I announced who won the Barbecue Superstore gift certificate, $20. That was Adam Pace. Congratulations to you, Adam Pace. You don't need to send me any shipping info, Adam. I will forward your email address over to Richard Parker over at Barbecue Superstore, and he will make sure that you're outfitted with what you need and tell you how to redeem your prize. All right. Indulge me here just for a second while I do my inner nerd. All right. Where is that thing? Ooh. I don't know where A is. What is B? A is there. Let me go to here. Ooh, I didn't want to do that. Nope, I didn't want to do that. There, want to do that. B. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Now I want to go here. Oh, you can't see him. That's funny. Apologize. This makes for horrible radio, I know. Beautiful. There we go. See, I'm in a virtual set here, AJ. Come around behind. See that? It's not really behind me. This desk isn't really here, is it? All right, so we are back. 877-448-0433, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com if you want to jump in on the show tonight. More than happy to have you. Still to come tonight, friend of the show, a Emmy Award-winning TV writer, believe it or not, John Markus joins us in about 12 minutes from now. Programming note for tomorrow. We will not be having a show. No. I talked with the producers of the show and decided that given the impending holiday, which is, what's the holiday coming up? You got to talk into the mic, Jack.
Thanksgiving.
Right, Thanksgiving. Just for that, you win a prize. Just kidding. No prize for you, little man. What is your, are you looking forward to Thanksgiving?
Yes.
What's the Levon Thanksgiving Day plans? You guys here, or you go to Grandma's house, or what do you do?
We go to our aunt's, then we go home, then we go to our grandma's.
So you go to two different places?
Yes.
Is that two different Thanksgiving dinners?
Yes.
Hey-o! It's going to go from AJ to Fat Jade Thursday night. Watch out. So you're going to eat two different turkeys and two different pumpkin pies and two different stuffings. Do you eat stuffing?
No.
Why not?
I don't like it.
It's bread and gravy and stuff. It's the best stuff ever. What are you going to eat at the Thanksgiving table? Maybe that's the better question. You going to eat turkey?
Turkey.
Turkey. Potatoes, mashed potatoes?
No.
What? No?
No.
Are you French?
No.
Part French?
No.
You have to be.
No.
Right, so no mashed potatoes. So that no gravy then?
No.
All right. No stuffing. We've confirmed that. What about corn?
Yes.
Corn kernels? Or do they do corn on the cob? Probably corn kernels. Like loose corn?
Yeah, corn on the cob or...
Yeah. They do corn on the cob?
Yeah. Maybe.
Wow, old school. All right. Cranberry sauce.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And you don't eat mashed potatoes? Who is your father?
My father?
Ah, good answer. Touche. Well, I don't understand how you can't eat mashed potatoes. Do you not eat French fries?
I do.
But you don't eat mashed potatoes?
I know it's
Look,
weird.
You need to help Uncle Mr. Rempy figure out why you won't eat mashed potatoes. Will you try them this year for me and then report back?
No.
Next week, you'll come back on the show Tuesday and report on how your mashed potato eating experience was. You can be on the show again. How about I bribe you then? Survey says?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Next week, we'll go to a bridge, and I'll talk you off of jumping off of it. And then we can report about how it felt on the following week, all right?
No.
Nothing.
All right. Never mind. All right, I got this email from Alan Frankel. It is George Washington's Thanksgiving 1789 proclamation. AJ, you interested in hearing me read the 1789 Thanksgiving Day proclamation?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Whereas it is the duty of all nations to acknowledge the providence of Almighty God, to obey His will, to be grateful for His benefits, and humbly to implore His protection and favor. And whereas both houses of Congress have, by their joint committee, requested me to recommend to the people of the United States a day of public thanksgiving and prayer, to be observed by opportunity peaceably to establish a form of government for their safety and happiness. Now, therefore, I do recommend and assign Thursday, the 26th day of November next, to be devoted by the people of these states to the service of that great and glorious being who is the beneficent author of all the good that was, that is, or that will be, that we may then all unite in rendering unto Him our sincere and humble thanks for His kind care and protection of the people of this country previous to their becoming a nation, of the signal and manifold mercies and the favorable interpositions of His providence in the course and conclusion of the late war, for the great degree of tranquility, union, and plenty, which he has since enjoyed, for the peaceable and rational manner in which we have been able to establish constitutions of government for our safety and happiness, and particularly the national one now lately instituted for civil and religious liberty, with which we are blessed, and the means we have of acquiring and diffusing useful knowledge, and, in general, for all the great and various favors which he has been pleased to confer upon us. Oh, it goes on. And also, that we may then unite in most humbly offering our prayers and supplications to the great Lord and ruler of nations, and beseech him to pardon our national and other transgressions, to enable us all, whether in public or private stations, to perform our several and relative duties and punctually, to render out our national government a blessing to all the people by constantly being a government of wise, just, and constitutional laws, discreetly and faithfully executed and obeyed to protect and guide all sovereigns and nations, especially such as have shown kindness to us, and to bless them with good governments, peace, and concord, to promote the knowledge and practice of true religion and virtue, and the increase of science among them and us, and, generally, to grant unto all mankind such a degree of temporal prosperity as he alone knows best. Given under my hand, at the city of New York, this 3rd day of October, 1789 A.D., George Herman Washington. AJ, your reaction to the 1789 Thanksgiving Day proclamation is?
It was pretty good.
Yeah! First time through, didn't even practice. I'm a pretty good reader, right? For an old guy.
Yeah.
You're damn right. All right, isn't it your bedtime?
I don't have school tomorrow, so no.
Shut up! All right, well, you're off camera next segment because I'm going to be on with John Markus. He's very important. You ever heard of The Cosby Show?
No.
What? God. Not eating mashed potatoes. You don't know who The Cosby Show is. Are you American? Yes or no?
Yes.
All right. Thank God. I was getting worried. In many different ways, I was getting worried. All right. Quickly, before we get to Mr. Markus, let me talk to you about Butcher Barbecue. AJ, what's the one thing Uncle Mr. Rempe says over and over and over again? Always trust your butcher. That's exactly right. There's no easy way, or easier way to make sure that your competition stuff is up to par, or like me, your backyard stuff is up to par, and you do that by visiting butcherbbq.com. Now, within those lovely internet confines, you're going to find pork injection, beef injection, prime injection, bird booster. Bird booster, you know what bird booster is? No. It's injection for chicken. You can increase the moisture yield from just a 7% on the brine, 21% when you use bird booster. Quick math, AJ. How many more times is that than regular brining?
9. 3.
That's right, 3 times. Because remember, 7 times 3 is 21, right? Right. Also, if you have a commercial injection that isn't Dave's, and you found that you don't really like it that much, that your scores have started to tumble down a little bit, that the high fives aren't infrequent in the backyard from the neighbors and friends, don't throw it away. Heavens no. Go to butcherbbq.com, go to the trade-in link portion, and then print off that label, send whatever commercially made injections you have left over, send it on over to Dave. He will weigh it, and once it's weighed, all that stuff is final, of course. And then he'll send you back, and at your request, pork injection, beef injection, prime injection, the bird booster. It's all free game. Well, free. All free game. And he's just, one more way that Dave is not only making his current customer base happy, but he's trying to make his competitors' customers happy as well. I mean, how many companies you're seeing doing that to stay in the marketplace, AJ?
3?
3. Okay, 3 it is. How about that? Now, if you're looking for rubs, if you're looking for sauces, dare I say you've hit the mother lode here as well. Of course, my favorite, the Butcher's barbecue sweet sauce, which you've seen him use on television. I always carry at least 6 in my house because it goes like hotcakes. But you have the honey rub, which is one of my personal favorites, the steak and brisket rub, the prime rub. Well, that prime rub is specifically formulated to work hand-in-hand with the injections. So, spend time on butcherbarbecue.com. Don't waste time. Spend time. And the shipping is ridiculously affordable as well. ButcherBBQ.com. That's ButcherBBQ.com. We're back with John Markus right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. AJ Levon taking some on the email. John Dawson, first soccer, now no mashed potato. AJ, adults are kicking your butt right now on the email. What do you think about that?
Not good.
Yeah, I know. They should get a life for crying out loud. Come on, adults. All right, AJ, I'm turning your mic off. All right, joining me now, my guest basically for the second hour. He is the executive producer of BBQ Pitmasters, creator of the Kings of BBQ Kuwait documentary, co-playwright of the Fabulous Lipitones, and Emmy award-winning writer as well. You find him slumming around these parts from time to time every few months or so. It's John Markus joining me here on the show. John, how are you, sir?
I would hardly call it slumming.
Well, some people say slumming, some people say enjoying time, or perhaps you just have nothing to do on a Tuesday, but that's fine. Whatever works best.
I was actually out in the city tonight, and I was at a restaurant called Maysville on 26th Street in Manhattan.
Yep.
Where I barbecue occasionally out on the street there, and we do events. And I told everybody I gotta go home and get on with Greg Rempe.
And they said, "Who the hell is that?"
Well, some people thought I said I have to get it on with Greg Rempe.
Hey, what are we talking about here? All right.
I don't know. I'm in New York, man.
Hey, that's right. It's freewheeling out there. John Markus joining me here on the show. All right, so maybe we should start somewhere completely out of the box tonight, John. Thursday, Thanksgiving, obviously. You are a competitive barbecue cook. You have done well in events you've taken part in. What advice do you have for the folks who are really feeling the pressures of not screwing up this cook come Thursday?
My advice to them is never to panic, because there's nothing that can go wrong that you can't fix. So it's important to kind of like channel this sort of calm if you can. There are two kinds of pitmasters: angry pitmasters and happy pitmasters. And you want to try to be a happy pitmaster when you're cooking a turkey. I would say keep it on the low side. Do not get it hot. Longer temperatures, moister bird.
Now, are you a briner? Are you an injector? Are you neither? Do you buy the already enhanced birds?
I've never bought an enhanced bird in my life.
Ever?
Well, that almost sounds like saying I've never been to a hooker.
I mean, who hasn't? At least once or twice.
That's sort of like, yes, I've never bought an enhanced bird. I believe in brining, and I believe in cooking the bird with a kind of a marinade or a flavoring addition under the skin. And there's a recipe for something called chicken amer, which is French, that you can translate to the turkey. So I believe in brining and then slow smoking, with either apple or one of the more delicate hardwoods.
John Markus, Pitmaster, joining us here on the show. John, do you have like a favorite Thanksgiving Day memory?
Oh, that's a great question, Greg. I do have a favorite Thanksgiving. You know, I was raised in a really small town in Ohio, like 6,000 people, and everybody knew everyone else. And I used to go back during breaks and college breaks, and I had a Dixieland band when I was in high school. I was a clarinet player for many years, and we used Thanksgiving as a reason to take the Dixieland band out into the small heart of this town and play for charity. And it was always get a little cold and brisk and snowing, and it was like a Norman Rockwell moment for me. So, you know, until I got into the ugliness of show business, I had all these real dreamy memories of growing up.
John Markus joining me here on the show. Let me ask you this question, and I brought this up with a few guests on the show last Wednesday. You know, John, for years there was at least a day's buffer between the other holidays and Christmas. This year the line is erased, and Christmas is firmly buried right into Thanksgiving, with many of the big retail outlets opening around 5 or 6 p.m. or after dinner, if you'd like to call it, for business. Does that strike any chord with you at all, or is this just kind of where we've evolved to with this whole Christmas thing?
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, and there's one other event this year, which is that for some reason, some forces came into play that combined Hanukkah with Thanksgiving.
Outrageous.
What the hell is going on?
I don't know. They take over everything.
Blame Macy's for that.
Right.
But, okay. I'm old school like with you, Greg. It saddens my heart to know that now during the period around Halloween, you see Christmas ads. And let me tell you something. When I see a Christmas ad on television before Thanksgiving or even around Thanksgiving, I make a mental note of whatever celebrity is putting his or her face on that ad, and I boycott everything they do from then on.
It seemed everybody always said, Christmas comes early and earlier every year. And all of a sudden, at least there was a line of demarcation, and pretty soon every day is going to be Christmas, I think.
Pretty soon, although we're going to probably object to that when it starts up in late January. Some people are going to get pissed off and go, hey, that's too early. Keep it in March.
Yeah, well.
Listen, Greg, here's the problem, is like so much of what is really driving our culture now is about the dollar.
Yeah.
And it's always been a complaint people have had, the almighty dollar. But now it really is serious. And I don't know. It just saddens me. I mean, it's up to the individual families to keep the real spirit of what those holidays are in them, and to try to just let the culture do what it does. Let people go out and stink up the place, but in your own home, try to keep it something real, which I'm sure a lot of people do. It's on TV so much, and that's what bothers me.
Yeah, I guess, the media outlets are so prolific, more than they were ever in the history of ever, of course. I know that was very, very poignant of me in the history of ever. Let's transition, John, if we could, to TV, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
And if we can, let's start with the most recent season of BBQ Pitmasters. Now, look, from all accounts, both barbecue lovers, which is our very minuscule sect, and the casual fan, which is the greater viewing audience, seem to be quite happy that this was a success, perhaps second only to that first season of BBQ Pitmasters. Your thoughts on how this past season went down, and maybe any feedback from the network?
I'd love to hear, maybe, Greg, before I answer that, what do they point to, the people that are on the plus side of the show? What are they saying they liked about what happened this year?
All right. So I think, the majority of things that I have heard, and then, of course, my own personal opinion is that this style of show tends to be more popular than, let's say, that season 4, or the one previous, because you do have some recurrence of the same people, especially if they win, and the audience has that ability to kind of pick a favorite and ride them to the proverbial finish line. Not to steal a horse racing metaphor, but I am from Saratoga Springs originally. When the season before it, there was a contest, but there was no lead up to an ultimate winner. There were 3 people there. They threw down. There was a winner of that show, and then boom, they were gone, and that was it. So I think people like to have the crescendo or the coup de grace at the end. And, while I still say I would like to see more of them to build a little bit more of a personal interest, at least the winners are coming back, again and again, and then you have the final and the ultimate winners pick. So I think that's what they really seem to be latching onto.
Well, then I want to compliment the fans and tell them that they're having an influence in the direction of the show, because I'm very proud to announce that we are going to do 9 episodes that are going to be 6 competition, 3 off, then 2 of the best, the winners brought back in groups of 3s, and then a final episode of head-on-head, 2 people. So it's going to be bracketed this year again, just like the previous year. And I think that, we do like to bet on people or have our favorites. And the testing that the network does really favors that style of show. So that's what they're going to see this year.
All right, so as someone who is, very creative in shows, whether it be for television, whether it be for big screen or live on stage, how do you see it? What's your take on this season and the upcoming season?
First of all, I gotta tip my hat to Lindsay Freed, who's the feet on the ground showrunner, executive producer of the show. She's day to day. She's the one who really makes a lot of decisions on the fly while she's there, and she's the one that shepherds the show to the editing room and then out onto the network. So she's been with the show since the beginning. She's been there. Lindsay has become part of the barbecue community. So that really, really makes me feel good, and I'm very proud of her. I think that what we're trying to do is really look hard at casting, and I think when people like the show, it's because they like who we put on the show. So to me, that's the essence of any good television, is that you have honest, authentic, and compelling cast members, as I call them. So that job is on us to really comb the barbecue community and find the people who resonate with the casual watchers, the serious watchers. That they're not clowns, We've occasionally thrown in a rodeo clown, but we're trying not to do that.
The casting director had emailed me, I believe it was last week, and asked me to kind of get the word out about the new season and to get videos in for consideration. And I didn't know if I was reading it with a little bit of a jaded eye, and the fact that maybe there weren't a plethora of videos to choose from, so he was kind of in like a desperation mode. That isn't necessarily the case, is it?
That is not the case at all.
Okay.
And I didn't see that letter, so I don't know quite what he said. But he's a good guy, and he really has a good feel for it. I think what you read in the tone of his note is that we have a quick turnaround. We're going to start shooting probably in late January, mid-late January or February, and we have to get the word out. That our lead time is really uncomfortably short. So we want to get these people out. We want to really beat those bushes and get people to come out who aren't the same usual suspects.
From when this past season has ended, which has been, any number of weeks now, to when you're going to turn around and start shooting again. What transpires in between that you are always, you always seem to be last minute. Now you're doing you've been renewed now a number of seasons in a row, but it never seems to be any more comfortable for you as far as drop dead dates, which always seem to be getting maybe less and less.
There is no justice or mercy in show business. As you well know, Greg Rempe.
Yes, of course.
Hey, listen, I'm normally favored with a fabulous picture of you. I can't see you today, and I miss seeing you.
Yeah, I'm using a different broadcast software because the other one has a bug in it right now through no fault of my own. So in order to get a stream out, everybody can see you, but you just can't see me, which probably not making.
I'm feeling a bit of a loss right now, but I'm just going to persevere.
Push through.
Yeah. So there's no justice or mercy. The network holds all the cards, and they're the ones that sometimes it's out of sight, out of mind. when the show wraps, like when the last episode is finished and then finally goes on the air, then they actually, I think there's stuff they do they don't tell me. And I think one of the things is they actually go and test the show. They take the show out to testing facilities. I think some of them are in Las Vegas. And everybody on the show gets their numbers run. They get judged. They get surveyed. They get analyzed and broken down into what an audience likes or doesn't like. So that's what they do in the meantime in order to rev up to come back at us and with their ideas.
When they come back with their ideas, are they directives or are they suggestions?
Let's just say that the title of BBQ Pitmasters is not the Markus Show.
Correct. Nor has it ever been, I guess, right?
It's never been called the Markus Show, which I think is a grave injustice to me. But it's not. And so it's their card game. You know? They make the rules. They're the ones that are choosing the kind of chips to serve and the kind of felt table to deal the cards on. So that's the way it is. And they're sensitive to what the show is, and they listen to me. I was fortunate enough to, just a couple of weeks ago, sit down at lunch with Mark Etkine, who is the head of Destination America. And we got to have a lovely long lunch and talk about where the show is headed and what thoughts I had. And so that's all I need. If I know that I have the head of the network's ear, I am thrilled. And he can't be a bigger booster of the show and believer in the show. So it's one of those rare things that happens in our business where you got a little bit of a love affair going on.
If you can pull back the curtain a little bit, when you're having conversations with top men at the broadcasting company.
Or women.
Yes. I mean, I meant men in the very generic sexual sense.
It's like when I said I was going back home to get it on with Greg Rempe.
Yes, right.
Okay.
I mean, many different meanings. So
we're not losing viewers over this chatter, are we?
No, by the boatload, okay. But it doesn't matter. Good. So when you're having conversations with top women in the broadcast network, and you're talking about how she's a champion of the show, like, I mean, what kind of conversations are taking place? Are you talking about years down the road? Are you talking about how we're still just happy now, but don't screw up? I mean, what are top level, high level conversations going on?
Well, when people get to be at the top of the network, it's because they're really smart and they know how to handle things, and they're adept at trying to get the executive producers and the on-air talent. They have an idea and a vision. So they'll sit down and they'll be very complimentary at first, but then it's like, okay, then you get down to business, which is where we may have faltered, where we might have lost a few viewers, and they talk about that. So they zero in on what needs to be better. And that was the case of my idea with Mark. But what was really gratifying is Mark was as open to listening to hear it from me as he was to tell me what he felt was going on. So it was a really good back and forth. I mean, listen, the BBQ Pitmasters is important to Destination America. It's been their tent pole.
Yeah.
We founded the network on our show. So they're proprietary about it. In other words, they really feel like they need to nurture it and keep it going and make it as good as possible. Now, we don't always agree on what is going to create that kind of show. But with a good network head like Mark is, it's a back and forth. So they will open with nice, and then they'll get right to, okay, I want to make you a little uncomfortable right now. So it's good. Listen, I got to be grown up. And one of my favorite phrases I learned from my Southern friend is to say, I got more hide than you got teeth.
Very good. In regards to, and I know we've talked about it a couple times during our conversations, John, is people want to know what makes a good entry video, what appeals to you and whoever else is evaluating, when what gets tossed out is fake.
I would recommend no nudity.
Come on.
No, especially among the barbecue community.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, I would say try to avoid bringing a live baby squealing pig into your video because I swear to God, I'm just going to look at the pig. I ain't going to watch you because I'm an animal lover and I want to see that pig squeal and run away, or don't put funny clothes on it. So that's one thing. The second thing is don't, and I'm going to give you a lot of don'ts, and then we'll do with a couple of do's, but don't be fake. Don't come on and try to. Don't be like a Southern California used car dealer. Don't bark at me. Be authentic. It's like, what was that great country song? Just act naturally.
Yeah. All
you got to do is just. I can't recommend that enough to people. Be competent in the sense that like I've been twittering about this, and there's this saying that goes around in the barbecue community where people get all tough and they fold their arms and they go, well, to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Well,
right?
I mean, I think we know where that line came from.
I think that line is full of crap.
I think Ric Flair would have a problem with that, John Markus. In order to be the man, you got to beat the man.
All that. The same thing. And you know why? It's because everyone in competition barbecue is a loser.
Mostly.
Well, we lose. We lose more than we win.
Yes.
And if you come at me in your video like you got all these trophies and you can whip anybody that's a judge and you can whip each other, and that's like it's like that's a snooze fest to me. That doesn't tell me anything about you. That lets me know that you can fake, that you should be on the big time wrestling shows. I want to see that what people's character comes from is how they cook, not how they brag. How's that?
I mean, that's always the advice I'm giving people, but I have a feeling that given the amount of videos that you have seen over your career and probably the people that are helping you gauge what is potentially good and bad, you have a nose for the fake.
Well, listen, I'll start by saying I have a nose.
Yes.
Well, Greg, you don't have to pile on, for God's sakes. Yeah, all the years I've spent casting scripted shows and now this show, it's really something that does not serve you well. And I would just tell people don't rely on your wife and family telling you how hilarious you are, because they don't know. They got to tell you you're hilarious. Show your video to people that don't have a dog in the fight. Show your video to friends that, are honest with you. Yeah. Show your video to strangers. And be natural, and don't say, boy, am I going to make them laugh. Do you remember this? Are you a fan of the Bugs Bunny cartoons?
Yes, of course.
There was a great cartoon where Bugs went on stage. Daffy Duck was in the wings, and Bugs was on stage doing a really easy tap dance. And Daffy was so jealous that he was going, if they like that, wait till they see this. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And he went out and he tore it up and he worked so hard that when he was done, there was cricket sounds in the audience. Don't overwork it, is all I'm saying.
John Markus joining me here on the show. John, I got to do a quick read here, so I'm going to put you on hold. You go ahead and enjoy that fine-looking Have a Tampa cigar that you're smoking.
Pants, so I'm going to stay in my seat.
All right. Folks, let me talk to you quickly about Fred Bernardo, TastyLicksBBQ.com. Sauces, rubs, grills, smokers, everything for the outdoor chef. You can find it at TastyLicksBBQ.com. You can call them 800-677-2882. And what do I always tell you? Some of us aren't blessed to live in an area that has a substantial amount of mom and pop grill stores or really good grill stores. It doesn't necessarily have to be mom and pop, but quite honestly, there's not a lot of national chain grill and fireplace stores. So if you really find something that you like on the internet, or you're perusing the Barbecue Central forums, or whatever, you're probably not going to be able to just go out and grab it up at the Home Depot or the Lowe's or the local hardware store. So now you're forced to go online, and that's where the hive set in. Maybe you've been on the internet before and ordered something, and you've been jammed up. You paid, but it never showed up. Whatever the case may be, that's why I say rest assured when you're doing business with Fred Bernardo and the folks over at Tasty Licks Barbecue. Why? Because they have a substantial inventory. It's ready to ship to you directly. Everything's priced fair. And quite honestly, especially if you're a big green egg head, no pun intended, they are the egg experts, because Fred has relationships with people where he's getting products made and accessories made for the big green egg that, quite frankly, you can't get anywhere else in the world. So that's why I recommend you head on over to tastylicksbbq.com. That's tastylicksbbq.com. Check out all the videos that he has up there. Check out the cooking classes that he has coming up. He's always running specials. Right now, I know he's got the big turkey brining kit for Thanksgiving, which may or may not get to you on time depending on where you are. And if you live around the beautiful Shillington, Pennsylvania area, stop in. Say hi to Fred, say hi to Toby, say hi to all the gang out there. Let them know that you're listening to the show and you're stopping in because you want to support him too. It's Fred's Music and Barbecue, tastylicksbbq.com. That's tastylicksbbq.com, 800-677-2882. The smoking guitar player. We're back with John Markus right after this. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, we're back. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. If you want to jump in on the conversation tonight, we're talking with John Markus, executive producer of BBQ Pitmasters, which a lot of us watch diligently. John, Melissa Cookston was added as a new permanent judge. Certainly a great choice. Good, honest personality, a winner's winner, and certainly able to evaluate what's good barbecue and what isn't. So let me ask you something a bit out of the box here. Do you ever feel that the teams who are seen as the competitors might have a bit of an advantage over the restaurant folks that are on these shows because of the judging panel? Are their palates looking for a competition flavor profile that puts the restaurant guys at a disadvantage? It doesn't have to be like consciously. Could it just be because that's what they do? That's what they might be looking for?
It's a really good question because the decision was made 2 seasons ago to start including restaurant barbecue cooks, and there's some very colorful characters, and yet it is a totally different kind of smoking meat. It's you. If you run a restaurant, you're into producing to feed the masses. You are into holding food. You have to hold food because you got to be a near genius to be able to cook barbecue and hold it so that it's good. I'll tell you one person, I'll give you a little secret. I think the person who is probably the best in the world at being able to make it and also keep it as fresh as possible all day long is Tuffy Stone. That's why when you go to eat at his restaurants at Q, it's always good. It's always consistent. So, but that skill is different than, getting it right off the pit in competition and doctoring it up for competition. So it sometimes throws the judges, I think, because what hat are they supposed to wear?
Right.
We do not wear hats where we go, this is the best restaurant barbecue I've ever had. It's not the show. It is a competition show. So, again, it's like we have to be very careful when we pick a restaurant pitmaster.
John Markus joining me here on the show. I'm going to ask you one other question, and I was debating whether or not I should. But why not? Let's throw caution to the wind.
Let's go, Greg, you and me.
There is someone out there who refuses to do this show anymore because they feel I am a hypocrite. Now, look, if you're a fan of the show, if nothing, I am a hypocrite. In fact, Doc Holliday said it best in the movie Tombstone when he told Wyatt Earp laying on his deathbed, Wyatt, it seems my hypocrisy knows no bounds. Have I said that I am a non-fan of the chop-style formats? Yes. Have I said on any number of occasions on this show that I'm in the minority of that thinking? Yes. And they feel that perhaps this hypocrisy comes in when I interview teams that have been on the show for some kind of perceived boost in ratings for me, which is completely false. I mean, I do it to remain topical and relevant in the news and pulse of barbecue. And to be honest, I've known a lot of these teams that I've interviewed well before they were on any of these shows. So in a long-winded way, John, do you see me or this show exhibiting hypocrisy in that way?
Greg, I would not be on your show whenever you call or whenever I call you if I felt you were a hypocrite and you were not, your enthusiasm and your passion for barbecue is not heartfelt. Whoever this person is, I cast all of who they are in doubt because that's not a fair criticism of you. So if you want to off the air, tell me who it is. And if it's somebody who I'm still speaking to, I will go to work on them.
Well, during the show, of course, we have a rule, no names, please. But maybe off air.
Yeah, off air. I mean, honestly, we're all sensitive creatures, and we get bent out of shape certain things, and we hold grudges. I mean, the people that tell me they go to church every Sunday and they follow the good book, and they're some of the most hypocritical people I've ever met. Some of them. I'm sure everyone who goes to church knows some people like that. But I don't think that's a fair criticism, and maybe there's some grudge they have over one thing that happened. That's my guess, because I frankly do not know who you're talking about.
All right, maybe off air we talk about it, maybe not. But I just wanted to, as someone who was higher ranking on the overall show, if you feel that I am trying to pan the show on one side of my face, but then get the winners of that week's competition on the show for a ratings, I mean, I can see where potentially it looks bad, but I don't think I've ever made any bones about what I don't like and what I do like.
No, I'll tell you, Greg, I see you as fair and square. You're the biggest booster of what this field is, and it's complicated. I mean, I'm involved in a TV show. I'm not involved in a weekly competition that I'm producing. I'm doing a TV show. And so there's always compromises that are involved in getting a show done every week. Sometimes you have to punt. Sometimes you throw the Hail Mary pass. Sometimes it goes as planned. So sometimes when people dig their heels in, that if you go after them, they just dig them in more. So I don't know. I mean, I know who the good people and the bad people are in barbecue. I really do. And if the person you're mentioning is a good person, there's probably something going on that maybe could be teased out and figured out and solved.
All right,
and I'd be happy to be part of that.
Duly noted. John Markus, not only an executive producer of a TV show, but willing to mend fences during his off time, which I certainly appreciate. All right, so John, let's switch gears a little bit. We'll keep it in the barbecue realm here. But we've talked about it a number of times on your past appearances. The Kings of BBQ, BBQ Kuwait. And It was a brainchild of yours where you actually went through all this legwork to get crews and approval, and you went over into the Middle East and you were doing this documentary of top pitmasters in the country going over to feed the troops and kind of get that whole scope of what exactly is happening and the feelings. And then it grew from there. Then it was getting into, you were like personally entering it into festivals, and then you started garnering awards, and it's really kind of built its own life and momentum now, hasn't it?
It has. I'm very proud to say that we were an official entry in the New York City Food Film Festival. It's actually called the Food Film Festival, and it is a festival of movies about food. That the festival is done in New York City. This was the 7th year. It's been in Chicago for 4 or 5 years, and it is going to be in Charleston this year for the 2nd year. So that's a growing festival, very prestigious one that was One of the co-founders of the festival is George Motes, who is the hamburger expert. He has a show. I think it's on I think it's either on Nat Geo or it's on the Travel Channel. And we were featured there. One of the real novel things about this festival is the audience gets to eat the food in the movies. So if you buy tickets, you're going to be feasting the chef from the film, or in my case, the director of the film. We had my rig on 3rd Avenue in Manhattan, and we had Johnny Trigg and Tuffy Stone and Nicole Davenport come, and we cooked for the 320 members of the audience.
Wow.
In fact, while they were watching my documentary, The Kings of BBQ, BBQ Kuwait, they got to eat burnt ends during the watching of the movie.
A little better than popcorn, I think.
I would say so, and also one of the greatest audience bribes you could ever come up with.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and the film was a big hit there, which I'm proud to say, and I was named the 2013 Food Film Director of the Year.
Look at you. Where's that award on the back mantle?
And, well, that award I took upstate because it's a giant silver. I have a house upstate New York. Yep. It's a giant silver slotted spoon engraved with my award on it.
Nice.
And I have put that spoon next to my other cherished award, which I keep upstate in a frame, and that is I received the Order of the Magic Mop from Artie Davis.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think more than 35, 40 people have gotten this. You're literally knighted by Artie Davis, or Remus Powers as he's known, the guy in the derby hat and the black tie and the white shirt. And you have to kneel, and he taps a basting mop on your shoulders and reads you your elevated status.
Wow.
Yeah. So my spoon's going right next to that.
Yeah, that's definitely well placed, no doubt about it. We're talking with John Markus. All right, so what's next in the life of the Kings of BBQ, BBQ Kuwait? Where do you want to see it?
So what's going to happen now is we have gotten very good nibbles from distributors. This film is not going to end up in a multiplex because it's not that kind of movie, but because the subject matter is veterans and soldiers and barbecue. There's a very special kind of circuit we're going to be putting together for the film. And the plans are just underway now to do that. We're expanding the film from 38 minutes up to 50 minutes, and that's what I'm doing over the Christmas break, is Alana Uden, who's our editor and executive producer, is joining me, and we're going to make the film a little longer and show a little more of what happened over there. And I think that 2014 is going to be the year that this film is going to be available to everybody through either DVD or online orders. You'll be able to download the film, and we're getting that machine in order now. And it's also going to be on a circuit around the country. So it's got its life. The thing has sprouted wings and is flying on its own. And, my only goal with the movie is to actually make back what I put into it. I don't see it as a big profit maker, but something that can really make people feel good. And that's what our plans are for it.
All right, so it sounds like everything is going fabulously well for that particular effort. And so I don't know if we awkwardly segue into the other thing that's happening with you right now, but a live, is it a musical or play? I mean, I'm not too hip on that whole scene, but forgive me.
No, that's okay. It's it's in an unusual category, and they call it a play with music. Because a musical is a story that you tell through song. That's what drives, when you come to Broadway and see a musical, it's the songs are really woven in and they help tell the story. Yep. This is the story, and it's based in Ohio, my home state, and it is about a barbershop quartet. I love old-fashioned stuff, and there's still people out there, very much like the barbecue circuit, there is a barbershop circuit. And my play, which I co-wrote with a great writer named Mark St. Germain, concerns a quartet. They have sung together since high school, and they're at a competition in Indianapolis, and their lead singer drops dead of a heart attack. And it is a comedy.
I was going to say, it sounds like a laugh.
It's a comedy because that singer, he did not die until he finished singing the high B flat until the end of the song.
Wow.
So the play begins at his funeral, and we find out that they won the regional competition in Indianapolis, and they can go to the finals in Reno if they find a fourth. And that's what the play's about.
And I think I saw a Vimeo trailer clip of it. I mean, you were in it, but then it showed maybe 15 seconds of some cuts of the play. And I think, I don't know if this gives a lot of it away or not, but you have what I would call three Caucasians.
That's
and then
right.
it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, there is a Middle Eastern fellow that kind of gets into the band as well.
Well, he's actually from India.
Well, that was my next guess. Sorry, I'm just trying to be blanketly.
No, that's okay. Because Greg, it's really good that you described it that way. Because these guys are like three middle-aged guys from Ohio, and one of them is highly conservative and very suspicious of things, as much of the country has unfortunately been since 9/11.
Yeah.
We deal with all kinds of bias because of what happened to us. And he's mistaken by one of the guys for being Middle Eastern. And part of the play is to show that as different as our cultures are, if you're going to make harmony, you've got to be in it together. And the play is kind of it turns up the lights in the room so that we can all look at each other honestly and see what our biases are and see all the challenges we have that stand in the way of us all getting along. That's what the play's about.
John, I'm always intrigued about the inner workings of things. We've talked before at length about how things are going in a TV show and what happens here and what happens there and what makes it there and what doesn't. As far as a writing process or procedure for this Fabulous Lipitones, how does it take place? Are you in a room with Mark St. Germain just pounding it out? Is it sending each other stuff for review and revision and you're highlighting this and crossing that out? Is it both? Neither? I'm just endlessly fascinated with the creative process.
Mark St. Germain came to me 2 years ago, and he's very experienced off-Broadway playwright, and he had a notion of doing a story about a barbershop quartet where one of the singers dies and what they do. And he was calling me for a year saying, you got to work with me on this. And finally, just to kind of stop the phone calls, I went out and sat with him. We've collaborated before. And we came up with the fix. So that was the big arc of the story. And then in the case of Mark and myself, what we do is we divide the script up and we each write scenes and then we swap it and we rewrite each other. That's one way to do it. And then we sit in a room together and see whether it's making sense or that it's seamless, so that you can't tell where one of us started and the other one started.
Yeah.
In the case of television, when you're writing a sitcom, for the last 3 days, you're all in a room together pounding the script. So it can happen many different ways. In the case of a play, there's no deadline. So we can luxuriate in the time we have, but ultimately we got to get it done. And what is most useful in TV and in the theater is you sit with the audience that watches. And you listen to where the laughs are. You listen to where it dies. You're just hearing the cricket sounds. And then you let the audience tell you if it's any good or not.
John Markus joining me here on the show, giving us a little insight in the creative process. Where can you watch it right now?
Where can you watch the Lipitones?
Yes, sir.
The Lipitones is going to be in Seattle in March at the Taproot Theater. It's going to run for about 4 weeks there. In June and July and August, it's going to be in Provincetown at the Julie Harris Theater. And then we have a really it's not quite, the deal is not done yet, but it looks like we're going to be in Birmingham, Alabama, actually, sometime toward the end of the year. And other places are now considering the play because word is out. It's going to end up back in New York in 2014. And from that point, it's going to really fan out in the country. So you'd have to look at the small theaters in the part of the world where you live and you'll see it announced. You'll see, or you'll see an interview with me and talking about how did this guy get into barbecue.
John, what about Cleveland? I mean, did you know that Playhouse Square Center is the second largest theater complex in the United States? Perfect fit, right?
Oh, totally perfect fit. And do they do original stuff?
Hell yeah. What are you talking about?
All right, I'm writing it down. What's it called?
The Playhouse Square Center. It's the second largest theater district in the United States, John.
Well, Cleveland has, you know what? Cleveland is now going to be on our radar, and we have somebody who's actually going out with it, and I'm going to call them tomorrow because I want that play to come to Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, that would be, talk about the bread and butter, right? I mean, it's the Buckeye State. It's the rock and roll capital city of the North Coast, barbecue capital of the North Coast, too. So, yeah, I mean, and plus, it is revered for its theater. I kid you not.
Oh, I believe you. And you know how many seats are in that theater?
Well, there's plenty of theaters to choose from. That's the whole thing. So, I mean, there's the Ohio Theater, the State Theater, the Palace Theater, the other theaters that are around the theater location. So, yeah, I mean, what are you typically playing in front of? A couple hundred?
We play in, the show really seems to work in between 200 and 400 seats.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, so I'm going to be on with my theatrical agent tomorrow, and I'm going to tell him we gotta soak Cleveland. Yeah. We got to get up there.
All right, I'm going to send you an email as soon as we're done, and I'll get Playhouse Square Center right off to you so you don't forget.
Greg, that's great, because believe me, it is. I want the play in Ohio where it's really based, and that's my home state, and we're on it. We'll do it.
All right, we'll look forward to that. John Markus joining me. John, when is the new season of Pitmasters looking to potentially debut?
Well, here's what I'm allowed to talk about. I kind of spoke to Lindsay and I spoke to the network. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to what existed the season before this last season, and we're going to feature regional styles of barbecue. It doesn't mean that we're going to be traveling to that state, but each episode is going to have a theme that's going to showcase a particular area. Right now, we know we're doing Texas. We know we're doing North Carolina. We're probably going to do Memphis-style barbecue. And we're not saying that people have to be from that state, but we're saying that people have to really know what they're doing within that definition.
Got it. All right. So, I mean, that's pretty exciting. So it looks like we will be culminating into, the best of each region to see which region reigns supreme.
That's right. We'll do 6 of those, and then we'll do the best of those in the next 2 episodes, and then we're going to do a like head-to-head for the final.
All right, perfect. John, what else before I let you go tonight?
Well, let me see. I just want to tell people that, check out all the information should be out there on where to send your videos. And, I think we might expand the whole rule we had where we were saying in the past just 2 people. And I think if you have a little bit larger of a team and you're interested in having everyone there, that put them in the video, because I think we're going to probably give consideration to more than 2 per team. And, follow me on Twitter, BBQ Pitmasters on Twitter. I've just about hit 13,000 followers. And it's a party. Every day's a party on my Twitter.
Got to get those tweets out, right, to keep everybody engaged.
I tweet with great pleasure because 140 characters is the perfect length for a man who has my short attention span.
There you go. He is John Markus. You find him here on this show every once in a while. You'll see him on Pitmasters and Fabulous Lipitones and Kings of BBQ, BBQ Kuwait. John, always appreciate the time you give to the show. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Greg, I live for the dream of doing the show in person with you in Cleveland.
It would be my humble pleasure, sir.
Thank you very much. As always, it's been a lot of fun.
We'll talk to you soon. There he is, John Markus. Again, his efforts, Fabulous Lipitones, Kings of BBQ, BBQ Kuwait, and, of course, BBQ Pitmasters, which you can see on Destination America. All right, let's see here. I got to quickly do something because I am, as they say in the business, late. All right, I got a better idea. I'm just going to do it like this. Here we go. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with Harry Sue, Slap Yo Daddy BBQ. SlapYoDaddyBBQ.com, the website. We also talked with Jason Baker, Green Mountain Grills. GreenMountainGrills.com, his website. Don't forget to check out the new Davy Crockett portable pellet grill. Sweeping the nation under $400. Pretty much take it anywhere you want, and 12 volt. So you can invert it at your car, hotel room, RV. And then John Markus in the second hour. Good stuff. All right, once again, no show tomorrow night. But we will return next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Everybody have yourselves a happy Thanksgiving come Thursday, and we'll see you back here on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, it's your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.